Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Meteorologist Joe Hansel here. We'll continue to monitor these daily chances of showers and storms that could still produce some localized flash flooding for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Still have about 4 days of some up to likely chances of showers and storms. In that time, anywhere from 3/4 to 2.5 inches of rain, with locally higher amounts are possible for areas of the state. For today and tonight, we're into a marginal to slight risk of excessive rain, which means some isolated to potentially at least widely scattered flash flooding may be a possibility with some of these showers and storms. In some central and eastern areas of the state, we do have a marginal risk of severe weather today. Some isolated damaging winds are also possible. Charleston, we got some of that rain yesterday, high of 83, low at 70, just over 3/4 of an inch. Over in Huntington, you posted 1.85 inches of rainfall, enough for a daily record there. What the radar may look like at 7, there are a few showers out there this morning, chance of a general thunderstorm. And then later in the afternoon, that risk of heavy and excessive rain and some isolated severe weather I'll keep eyes on. Fly Super forecast, it starts at home. Tampa near 97, Orlando 96. Those areas approaching some daily record highs today. Charlotte, hot and humid, Myrtle Beach as well. From Panhandle to Panhandle, likely chance of showers and storms. Highs low to upper 80s. Be mindful of some heavy rain. For the eastern Panhandle and surrounding areas, an isolated severe storm is possible with today's weather, with highs low to mid 80s. Be mindful of that potential of heavy and excessive rain for a number of these locations that does exist today. May also be some of that river valley fog out there that may be up to widespread, dropping visibility for the morning drive for a number of spots. Huntington, 86. Another chance of showers and storms with some isolated heavy rain. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we trend drier. High pressure early next week at some point drops in. And then on the long term, slight chance of showers.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
Coming up this morning, Metro News Talkline will visit with Congressman Riley Moore. Also, should Certificate of Need laws be re-examined and another school system comes under the control of the State Board of Education, at least partially? We'll get into all of it. Metro News Talkline is underway.
Do not attempt to change the station. You are surrounded. We interrupt this program to bring you an emergency news bulletin. Repeat, this is an emergency bulletin. Keep your radio turned on.
From the studios of WVRC Media and the Metro News Radio and Television Network, the voice of West Virginia, comes the most powerful show in West Virginia. This is Metro News Talkline with Dave Wilson and TJ Meadows.
Check set line up link. Activated Telos telephone. Switch network control from Charleston to Morgantown.
Stand by. Q Dave and TJ. You're on. Metro News Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Welcome inside the Encova Insurance Studios. Dave in Morgantown, TJ in Charleston. Jake Link, the video producer, and Ethan Collins handles the audio side of things. Say good morning to our great radio affiliates across the state of West Virginia. We certainly appreciate you letting us be part of your day. And if you're watching in on the Metro News TV app, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live, we appreciate it as well. Congressman Riley Moore joins us bottom of the hour, talking about strong borders and strong unions. We'll get into that later. Jessica Dobrinsky with the Cardinal Institute for Policy in West Virginia, looking at the impact of Certificate of Need laws on hospice care, nursing homes, and other such facilities. Jeff Monosso from Fox News, the latest on Mitch McConnell in Kentucky. Say good morning to TJ Meadows in the bunker in Charleston. Good morning, sir.
Hey, good morning. This just came across my computer, Dave. U.S. Olympic canoeist Davy Hearn pleads not guilty at his arraignment today in connection with allegedly damaging the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. So that happening in our nation's capital today.
Never mind.
Sometimes I do it just to see what your reaction will be, if I'm honest.
Reflecting pulls right up there with the hostile infrastructure problem that we got going on and got to take care of.
So
I digress. 304 Talk 304 is the text line, 800-765-8255. That is the phone number. Yesterday, the State Board of Education met, and during that meeting, there was some positive news for county school systems that have been struggling financially. There was some not so good news. Among the good news, the school board released Randolph County from its state of emergency, extended the state of emergency for Roane County for 6 months, but said that Roane County was making significant progress on its operational deficits it was dealing with. However, the not-so-good news, it declared a state of emergency for Harrison County. Under the state intervention now are Mingo, Logan, Upshur, Nicholas, Tyler, Hancock, Boone, and now Harrison. Roane remains under state of emergency, but again, is making progress. Let's bring into the conversation this morning the School Financial Operations Officer for the Department of Education, Uriah Cummings, joins us on MetroNews Talkline. Uriah, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Morning, guys. Appreciate you having me on this morning. I've had the unfortunate opportunity to speak on this subject too many times over the past few years, but always appreciate the opportunity to join you guys.
So what prompted this action with the Harrison County School Board?
This particular situation actually was a conversation between the Office of School Finance, which I oversee here at the West Virginia Department of Education, and the finance director of Harrison County Schools that really initially kicked off this review process initially. So we had been monitoring Harrison County Schools from a personnel perspective. It kind of feeds back into some of the conversation I had with you guys back in December following the Hancock County situation, where we had talked about some of the personnel overages. And unfortunately, the Hancock County situation had kind of fed into increased discussions and increased monitoring and review from the Department of Education. And again, upon that conversation with Harrison County Schools CSBO, we found that it was necessary to go up there and have conversation with board members and folks involved in the process to see just where they stand, what the mentality is, if you will, of everything up in that direction.
Uriah, as you look at the situation here, and as I look at it, my take is this was visible. This was not something that someone got slapped across the face with, oh my goodness, we have a problem. This was foreseeable in the actions that the board was taking. It's my understanding that the superintendent and the school business officer in the county raised this issue to the board. Is that a fair characterization on my part?
That is a fair characterization. There are public board meetings that show the treasurer having the conversation with the board back in February, I believe it was. And then I was actually at a board meeting in March having the same exact conversation with their board. And they had plenty of time still yet under the personnel laws in the state of West Virginia to make certain decisions that could have stabilized the fiscal position of the county and chose not to take action.
So we're talking to Uriah Cummings, School Financial Operations Officer, Department of Education. How was the Harrison County School Board, or how is the Harrison County School Board covering the cost of the personnel that exceeds the school aid formula?
So fortunately for the county, they had built up a $23 million fund balance. And we've had this discussion before as well. Those discretionary fund balances are absolutely necessary for a county board of education to have on hand in case of emergency or just unforeseen circumstances. We have a roof that needs replaced, those sorts of situations. And unfortunately now, the forecasting of that is that $23 million will decrease by $6 million by the end of fiscal year 26, which we just ended. And then initial budgeting procedures have indicated that another $10 million impact on that number for FY27. In total, $16 million, which was referenced during the board meeting yesterday, which would then bring that $23 million number down to about $7 million. And obviously that's all estimates, and there has to be action that takes place. And hopefully the Harrison County Board of Education now will cut back on certain spendings and limit that decline, but that's currently what the forecasting is showing for the county.
So let's crystallize that a bit. What's that take them to? About 5.5%, 6% reserve of their overall budget?
Somewhere in that neighborhood, yes.
And how? Help me understand here. Help the audience. What's healthy? What's a good percentage for a school system to have?
So ultimately, we use the recommendation of the Governmental Finance Officers Association of 16.67%. It's 2 months worth of revenues on hand at any point in time to again be able to address unforeseen issues that may come about. And I just did the math. I believe this takes them actually down to below 4%. So they've went from somewhere in the neighborhood of 30% and forecasting to be below 5% in just 2 years. And it just goes to show, like, this is similar to the Hancock County situation and the fact that there was this steep decline in just a matter of years, right? But ultimately, Harrison County had the fortunality of having at least a sum of money, so they're not going below zero. But it's still it's amazing to see. Amazing is not the right word, but to see how quickly a decline can occur, to go from $23 million to below $10 million in a 2-year period of time. It would take 10 years probably to raise $16 million in fund balance over a period of time. It just can happen that quickly, and it's impossible to get back to those levels in that same kind of time frame that it takes to lose it.
Uriah Cummings joining us, State Department of Education. So what options are available to the school board at this point? The RIF process is already completed for the next school year. The budget starts, obviously, the new budget is underway. So what available options are there?
Honestly, to let the cards fall where they may at this point. I actually had this conversation with Delegate Joe Statler during some meetings last week. You bring up a great point, Dave. The personnel law in this state being what it is partially the reason why we couldn't have at least done something to not let Hancock County get to $8 million, and is the reason why we can't do something to not let Harrison County's decline get to the point that it will ultimately reach, because at this point, the county is bound by the personnel numbers until the next fiscal year. And to me, that's a flaw in the system as it currently stands. There should not be this requirement that we watch a county board system falter and really drown right before our eyes, and that's what's happening. And to me, that needs addressed. Whether it's, I understand that we don't want to be in the business of just potentially having reductions in force throughout the course of a year. I know that there's not much of an appetite for that. But having something in place when these situations arise where a board did not make the difficult decision to cut positions, and now we're in the situation, having something that the Department of Education could trigger maybe after personnel season that could get that county in the position they need to be in to not just watch the funds go away.
I hate to ask this, but I will. Would bankruptcy allow something to happen? And I don't think that's hyperbolic. You're talking about a 4% cushion here. What, that's one payroll maybe? Half a month's payroll, if that? I mean, does bankruptcy open up options? Does that mitigate the law and allow you to take some action sooner than later, if that would happen?
I think that we would have to see that play out, unfortunately. And we were almost there with the Hancock County situation had the legislature not stepped in and provided the sum of money to be able to move forward with operations there. We were there, right? So I believe that it would take something like that to really see true change in this state regarding how the law is set up, both on the personnel front as well as state aid funding formula, those sorts of things. I think that's where we're at.
Uriah Cummings, School Financial Operations Officer with West Virginia Department of Education. Quickly, got about just 90 seconds here. We have seen some progress. Randolph County schools coming off state of emergency. Roane County schools still there, but improving, Uriah.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So that's obviously the hope, right? We've been pushing a message here out of the Department of Education that it has to be a collaborative approach, and counties are hearing that message. Now, is it every county? Obviously, no. Unfortunately, we have Hancock County situation where that's right in your face. That's hey, this is what happens if we don't do something. So we have examples now. But the message that we've been pushing is a collaborative approach. It starts with the treasurer of the county. It then feeds up to the superintendent, who is the only employee of a county board's school system. They have to take that information that they have and make recommendations to the board, who then need to hear those recommendations. It does not mean it's a yes, but it means that they need to understand the recommendations, understand the why, give me the data, help me understand why this is the decision we need to make. That all has to take place. It's a collaborative approach. It's not one person. It's not a 5-member board. It's everybody working together to make sure that we don't have this experience happen in another county ever again.
Uriah Cummings, School Financial Operations Officer with West Virginia Department of Education. Uriah, thank you so much this morning. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Coming up, we'll talk to Fairmont State University President Mike Davis. He's on the move, going to be going around the state. We'll talk to him next.
Now, America is hungry for energy, more power, more reliability, and more security. So here's a question worth asking. Why not coal? And why not now? West Virginia sits on one of the most abundant energy resources in the world. Generations of miners, proven infrastructure, and coal-fired power plants already delivering dependable, around-the-clock electricity. At a time when demand is surging and reliability matters more than ever, coal isn't a question mark, it's a solution. Today, there's robust support in West Virginia and Washington to strengthen American energy independence using the resources we already have. So again, we ask, why not coal? And why not now? Because when it comes to powering our homes, our hospitals, our economy, and new opportunities, West Virginia Coal is ready. A message from the Friends of Coal, powering America today and tomorrow.
Summer in West Virginia means open roads, blue skies, and endless possibilities. But if you don't have reliable wheels, getting to work or making it to a doctor's appointment can feel like an uphill climb. That's where Good News Mountaineer Garage comes in. We take donated vehicles, fix them up, and get them to fellow mountaineers who need them the most. This summer, let's keep our community moving. Donate a vehicle today by calling 866-GIVE-CAR or visit goodnewsmountaineergarage.org. Donate a car, change a life.
They say you can't take the lottery with you. But now, you can play anywhere, anytime with iPlay, the West Virginia Lottery's official app. From Cooper's Rock to the Greenbrier River, from the bleachers to your living room, iPlay goes where you do. Safe, simple, and always West Virginia proud. Play anywhere, anytime. Download iPlay today. iPlay, the fun, secure way to play, wherever life takes you. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
On the next State of Minds.
We cook West Virginian food is how we like to phrase it.
I knew that every time I would hear a story, and I would hear the same story, but it never got old, about what this meant to the family and how it was served and how special it was to be put on the table.
Need a truck that's ready for work, weekends, and everything in between? Right now at Dan Cava GMC, get up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierra 1500, or save up to $4,000 off all new GMC Canyon Elevations, offering bold styles, advanced technology, and everyday practicality. Come explore our all-new GMC Yukons, built for busy families and big adventures. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop Thorold.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
The best selection of WVU apparel is at Daniel's Men's Store. Exclusive designs you won't find anywhere else. Stylish, sophisticated, and unmistakably mountaineer. Shop in store or online at danielsofmorgantown.com.
Of course, the LVA was brought into my life because I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
Where he was in the course, we really had to go towards an LVAD.
At that point, I was committed. At that point, I wanted to get better, and I wanted to see what this machine was going to do for me.
With this therapy, he's thriving, doing well. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Fairmont State University is on the road. Going to be in the southern part of the state next week. Fairmont State University, Mike Davis. I don't know if he's driving the van or not, but he joins us on MetroNews Talkline. Good morning, Mike.
No, I'll be riding a bus.
But you're the president. Don't you get to drive the bus?
No, I'd rather ride.
All right,
I'll leave that to the experts.
Where are you going? What's going on? Taking the Fairmont State on the road.
Yep, so we'll depart on Monday to head to Raleigh, Wyoming, and McDowell counties, and we'll be there until Thursday. We've got events every day. We've got community art projects, service events, recruitment events, alumni events, and we're just looking forward to getting down there and talking to people about what they need from higher education and how Fairmont State can meet those needs.
It's interesting. I don't hear much, and maybe I'm just under a rock. I don't hear much that schools are going out to the communities, to the students. How rare is this? Why are you doing it?
And I think we may have talked last year. I did a tour of my own last year where I was hitting the last of those counties that I hadn't visited in my first 2 years. So I traveled in a van, and I went to 18 different counties, including the last 6, to check off all 55 in my first 2 years. And one of the things I heard when I was on this trip was they knew that Fairmont State and other universities came to their communities to recruit students, but we never went there to listen and to hear what they needed from higher education and to really, get to know the people in these areas. So that's part of what we're doing here. Is I'm going back now with 60 of my friends and colleagues to really talk to community members about what they want to see from a university in West Virginia.
Mike Davis joining us, president of Fairmont State University, going to be on the road, going to be in Raleigh, McDowell, and Wyoming counties. Got a kickoff event coming up next week at Twin Falls Resort. You made it to all 55 counties. What did you learn from visiting all 55 counties, Mike?
I learned we have one of the most beautiful states around. And then I learned that people really want to connect. I think that, coming out of like the pandemic and other pieces, people really want to start to figure out how to be connected to each other again. So every place I went, people were very welcoming, and they wanted to tell me what their concerns were. They want to make sure that college is affordable for kids from their community, and that they know when they send them off, 2 hours from home, that they're going to be well taken care of. And that's part of continuing that message on this trip.
Mike, let's dream together a little bit. If the genie in the bottle gave you 3 wishes out of this tour, and you could walk away with 3 tangible things, outcomes as a result of what you're doing, what would they be?
I think one of the big ones is we want to make sure we're serving these communities. We're a public institution, so it's really important that we're serving these communities. So we're doing these community service projects. We're doing community art projects because we want to make sure our impact continues after we leave, when we head back home. And then I think the second thing is, we're really trying to make sure that people understand that college is affordable and that their students have a place at Fairmont State. 20 years ago, 59% of high school graduates in West Virginia went to college. Now it's down to 43 or 44%. So part of our reaching out is we want to start to talk to kids while they're in middle school or while they're freshmen or sophomores in high school, encouraging them to go to college. And I think the third thing, and this is a little, maybe a little selfish on our part, is I think it's a really great opportunity for individuals from campus to bond to each other, to get to know each other, to have some meaningful conversations on the bus or in the lodge at night. But we don't always get a chance to because we're busy doing the work of running a university. We don't always have the time to slow down and talk to each other about what our day-to-day work looks like.
And Mike, to your second point there, not only to get the information out. The college is affordable, but the programs that are available, I'm willing to bet when you get down to, Wyoming, McDowell, Raleigh County, a lot of people are going to be surprised at the aeronautical programs, the aerospace programs that are available at Fairmont State and in North Central West Virginia.
Well, and I think two programs we have that are going to be really popular with the southern part of the state are our criminal justice program, right? Because everybody needs police officers and corrections officers and people to work in, investigations and things like that. And then the second thing we have is we launched it about a year ago is our outdoor leadership program. So, one of our unstated goals is we want to have Fairmont State alums working in every state park, working in parks and rec programs across the state. So we'll be talking a lot about that as well, because we're really trying to create programs that serve the needs of these communities. And when we talked to Chelsea Ruby with the state secretary of tourism, she said we need to start producing more graduates to work in our state parks, to work in parks and rec, and we responded to that need. So we're bringing the chair of that program with us on this trip, and she's going to do a good job telling people about the great work we're doing.
Fairmont State on the road at Wyoming, McDowell, and Raleigh counties next week. Safe travels, Mike. Have a good time.
Thank you very much. Have a good one.
Fairmont State University President Mike Davis. Congressman Riley Moore coming up next. This is Talkline on Metro News. For 40 years, the voice of West Virginia. It is 10:30. Time to get a news update. Let's check in on the Metro News Radio Network, find out what's happening all across the great state of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Meteorologist Joe Hansel here. We'll continue to monitor these daily chances of showers and storms that could still produce some localized flash flooding for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Still have about 4 days of some up to likely chances of showers and storms. In that time, anywhere from 3/4 to 2.5 inches of rain, with locally higher amounts are possible for areas of the state. For today and tonight, we're into a marginal to slight risk of excessive rain, which means some isolated to potentially at least widely scattered flash flooding may be a possibility with some of these showers and storms. In some central and eastern areas of the state, we do have a marginal risk of severe weather today. Some isolated damaging winds are also possible. Charleston, we got some of that rain yesterday, high of 83, low at 70, just over 3/4 of an inch. Over in Huntington, you posted 1.85 inches of rainfall, enough for a daily record there. What the radar may look like at 7, there are a few showers out there this morning, chance of a general thunderstorm. And then later in the afternoon, that risk of heavy and excessive rain and some isolated severe weather I'll keep eyes on. Fly Super forecast, it starts at home. Tampa near 97, Orlando 96. Those areas approaching some daily record highs today. Charlotte, hot and humid, Myrtle Beach as well. From Panhandle to Panhandle, likely chance of showers and storms. Highs low to upper 80s. Be mindful of some heavy rain. For the eastern Panhandle and surrounding areas, an isolated severe storm is possible with today's weather, with highs low to mid 80s. Be mindful of that potential of heavy and excessive rain for a number of these locations that does exist today. May also be some of that river valley fog out there that may be up to widespread, dropping visibility for the morning drive for a number of spots. Huntington, 86. Another chance of showers and storms with some isolated heavy rain. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we trend drier. High pressure early next week at some point drops in. And then on the long term, slight chance of showers.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted Best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
On the next State of Minds.
We cook West Virginian food is how we like to phrase it.
I knew that every time I would hear a story, and I would hear the same story, but it never got old, about what this meant to the family and how it was served and how special it was to be put on the table.
.304 Talk 304. That is the text line. 800-765-TALK, the phone number. We'll get to your text coming up in just a bit. Congressman Riley Moore has a new piece out. It was published Monday, stressing the importance of strong borders and strong labor unions. He's also sent a letter to the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen, sharing concerns with work authorization programs that he says are negatively impacting American workers. Joining us on MetroNews Talkline this morning, 2nd District Congressman Riley Moore. Riley, good morning. Good to talk to you again.
Good morning. How are y'all doing?
Doing well. Glad to get you back on the show. So let's dive into this article. What is the connection between strong borders and strong unions?
Well, let me tell you a little story. So this will kind of paint the picture pretty well for you. So you had Smithfield Foods had a business down there, I believe it was poultry business, down there in North Carolina. There were thousands of illegal immigrants that were working at this plant. Now, that was suppressing wages for all of the workers at that plant down there. So obviously that cheap, foreign, illegal labor that was part of that kept everyone else's wages down. So then eventually the workers say, well, we're going to form a union so we can fight for better wages here. Since, look, they're over here paying Julio $2 an hour. They're not going to pay Tom $25 an hour, obviously. There's some parity there. So they try to form a union. But essentially the illegal labor is used as a foil and a cudgel to protect that company from a labor union being able to be formed. Because as soon as, if an illegal immigrant were to vote to form a labor union with the rest of the employers, or with the rest of the employees, they're going to be deported. So they were never able to do that until some patriot called ICE, got all of those illegals deported from that Tar Heel plant down there, and then they came to a first contract and formed a union. So that, in a nutshell, is kind of a painting the picture of where that is. Now, I do want to quote Elon Musk on the labor union question itself. If your employees want to unionize to begin with, you're probably not doing something right. And that's kind of the case that we had down there in North Carolina.
Smithfield Foods, not defending them, bad actor. Do you worry that this call paints too wide a brush? I mean, not all businesses operate like Smithfield Foods.
No, they don't. And not all businesses are going to be unionized. And look, I don't want every business to be unionized. What I want is that point of leverage and bargaining power to be there for the employees of any business that's out there. And obviously you have a constitutional right to association, so their ability to be able to negotiate a contract or a first contract, if they so choose, with that business, they have greater leverage to be able to do that. But you got to understand the illegal immigration pool is there to be able to protect those businesses from having their employees unionized, because they never will. And so if they just don't hire the illegal immigrants to begin with, there's probably not going to be a call to want to unionize anyway. Maybe perhaps there is. That's their right to do that if they want to. But all of this is tied together. If you don't have cheap, illegal immigrant labor, foreign labor, suppressing wages in this country, then I think everybody's going to be all the better for it.
Congressman Riley Moore joining us here on MetroNews Talkline. Riley, Republicans and labor unions, not necessarily, they haven't had the warmest relationships over the years. Let's put it that way. Why do you seem to be different? Why do you seem to embrace you embrace the labor unions? Why?
I think there's simple ways to look at it. So the Democrat Party is a degrowth party. If people aren't working, they're not getting paid, obviously. One good example of that would be the Keystone XL pipeline, right, where they decided to just cancel that. So thousands of union pipeliners are out of work. So they're certainly in favor of a party that wants economic growth. They want policies that are going to spur economic growth. Well, that's us. 2, they are harmed by illegal immigration. We're the only party that's going to do anything about illegal immigration. 3, if you look at, say, the United Steelworkers, for example, like up in Wheaton and places like that, tariffs are important to them. So ultimately, I think, and particularly at the individual level, they're looking for people, somebody who's going to protect the American worker. And that's what I am singularly focused on as it relates to employment in this country. And I think what's happening in a lot of these big corporations that are employing our people, I'll give you Walmart is a great example. Walmart over there, they'll pay for free abortions and free transgender surgeries for their employees, but they won't give them enough hours to qualify for a health care plan. But they are on a health care plan, by the way. It's called Medicaid, and we're all paying for it. So some of these corporations are taking advantage of the American taxpayer and kicking their employees onto Medicaid because they keep their wages and hours suppressed at a certain level, where we're all having to pay for it. We're paying for it, $900 billion for Medicaid. I mean, it's $100 billion for SNAP, by the way, and there's a lot of them that are on SNAP as well. So does that make sense? That's not an exercise in the free market. That is taking advantage of the American taxpayer and disadvantaging the American worker. So that's why I think that it does make sense. And I think if you look at President Trump's election, he won the labor union vote in many of these states. Without them, he would not win Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Michigan, places like that. And so he has started a new coalition under the Republican Party. And I think, look, I'm not alone in this. There's many other elected officials who are Republicans that have good relationships with business and the business community and good relationships with labor unions as well.
I want to talk about the Faster Labor Contracts Act. I think I got that name right. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but essentially this would bring binding arbitration, bring the government into the process after a period of time. Riley, isn't that a step too far, the government telling a private business what it will do rather than letting the two, and tell a union what it will do, frankly, because workers wouldn't get to vote on this. It would be binding for 2 years, both parties. Isn't that a step too far, the government stepping in to the marketplace and saying this is what a private company will pay and this is what workers will be happy with?
So on that, one is that both parties can agree to extend negotiations without going to arbitration. 2, this is only new contracts. This isn't every contract, union contract that exists out there. This is only new contracts. And 3 is that I think, as you all are very well aware, as we're talking about data centers and AI and all this other stuff going on, the ability to outmote and replace the American worker through AI and advanced robotics is increasing at a rapid rate in this country. So you need to be able to increase the time in which a labor union or workers are able to reach a first contract. And I've heard that talking point also. Well, the workers don't get to vote. Workers vote to form a union. So they, by definition, it is collective bargaining, right?
I know, but many times members of labor unions vote against a contract that's been negotiated. I mean, that's happened.
Sure, that's happened. But, I mean, by definition, it is collective bargaining. I mean, you tell me the definition of that. That sounds like they voted for individuals to go and negotiate on their behalf, just like they do in any contract extension or first contract or otherwise. And, not every union member is going to sit there in arbitration if it does reach arbitration.
Congressman Riley Moore joining us on MetroNews Talkline this morning. You also sent a letter to DH Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen with expressing concerns with the HB1 visa program, other programs that could be work authorization programs, negatively impacting American employees. What were your concerns?
Yeah. Let me state this real plainly. The H-1B visa program is a disaster. It's an absolute disaster for, white collar, blue collar, any American worker out here. There are hundreds of thousands of these H-1B visas, and many times These are the types of jobs that you are sending your kids to college for, your kids to trade school. I mean, it is, I think in a sense, the H-1B visa program, the legal immigration that we have going on in this country, I think in many aspects of it is actually worse than the illegal immigration problem that we have as it relates to work in this country. I mean, you go look at Microsoft right now. Xbox just laid off 3,200 U.S. workers and then turned around and applied for thousands of H-1B visas to import people from India to do those jobs for pennies on the dollar. That doesn't make any, like, what in the world are we doing here? And the OPT program is the same thing. That's optional practical training, which is tied to the STEM OPT programs, obviously. And we're bringing in foreign workers and training them in STEM and then replacing our own kids with, 9 times out of 10, because they hold the most of them, workers from India. That doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make any sense at all.
I have to ask you, you've been talking to the president, the White House again, about a particular job in the cabinet?
Oh, no. I mean, look, there's people are talking about that, and that's, look, I'm honored to have people mention my name and something like that. Very cool, very honored. I'm staying in this seat. This is, I don't think that's going to happen, but certainly happy to have my name mentioned in it. I think it's great for the state of West Virginia. I mean, I love that he's looking at people in West Virginia for these types of jobs, or at least in my name being mentioned. I think that's good just for us, just generally. But
absolutely,
no, I'm staying right here. I love what I'm doing.
2nd District Congressman Riley Moore. Riley. I had Raleigh County on the brain for some reason. Riley, good to talk to you again. As always, appreciate you stopping by.
Hey, good to talk to y'all too. Thanks. Have a great day.
Congressman Riley Moore. Oh, I got tongue-tied there. 800-765-TALKS, the phone number. 304-TALK, 304 is the text line. We'll get to some of your texts right back after this.
Located in the heart of West Virginia, Bridgeport is the place to play. Endless indoor and outdoor recreation opportunities, including the Bridgeport Complex, coupled with a dynamic food scene, make Bridgeport the perfect getaway destination for couples and families. Explore unique shopping and pick from a wealth of lodging options to find something perfect for your needs. Explore the heart of West Virginia in Bridgeport. Learn more about all there is to do at greater-bridgeport.com.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan. We are here for you.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
At Daniel's Men's Store, exceptional style begins with a curated selection and finishes with a flawless fit. When it's time to buy a suit, Daniel's is here to make sure yours is one of a kind. Discover tailored suits you'll only find in-store at Daniel's.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Our commitment doesn't stop when you drive off the lot. With factory-trained technicians and a service team you can trust, we're here to keep your vehicle running at its best for years to come. So when it's time to get your next vehicle, choose the dealership that's been serving the community for generations. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the road.
I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then before I entered into congestive heart failure.
We really had to go towards an LVAD. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Got to tell on myself during the break, I got a big cup of ice water. Usually try to hide it behind the speaker if you're watching on the MetroNews TV app. This ever happened to you? You start to take a drink and then the ice shifts in the cup unexpectedly?
Ooh, yeah.
So there's water on the
flow
desk.
issue?
Yeah. Well, you know how you can do that kind of when you first get water on your shirt, you kind of flick it. You can flick it off before it kind of soaks in real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think I successfully pulled that off, but I think, man, that's all I need is to come back from a break and have a soaked shirt going into the second hour of the show. I blame the ice.
Yeah, well, I would too. That's really why guys like us, that's why we buy the moisture wicking. It's not really anything. It's the fact you get something on you, you can, you know?
My wife gets so frustrated with me, and I get this from my grandpa Jim. No matter where we go, wherever we go out to eat, Thanksgiving dinner done, at some point there will be something on my shirt. Inexplicably, there will be something on my shirt telling what we had for dinner that night.
Yeah.
Drives her crazy because, you know, she's got to try to get the stain out of the shirt.
First date with my wife, I had a white shirt on. That was the mistake.
Oh, yeah.
Went to an Italian place. Not good for white shirts. And it became very clear that I would, throughout my life, have stuff, you know, even with the napkin, it doesn't matter. So at least she knew what she was getting, I guess.
Hey, if we go out for Italian, red or black shirts.
Yeah. Smart.
The sauce blends right in. Fashion tips with Dave. These are the kind of fashion tips Starwalt would just cringe listening to the two of us talk about.
He's got a stylist. Come on.
Well,
I mean, you know, he doesn't put all that together. I don't buy that. He looks great. Don't get me wrong, but he's got a stylist and all these things working for him. And yeah, no. I'm going to tell you. You know, you made me think. I'm really getting down the weeds here. I'll shut up. I promise. I would have been great at being like one of those hosts on QVC when it comes to selling the man stuff, because this is the kind of quality product benefits that I point out, right? It's not fashion. It's, well, you know, guys, and by the way, this will come right off with the I would have been good at that, I think.
304-TALK, 304 is the text line.
Thanks, Dave.
I'm not sure what to say to that. 304-TALK, 304 is the text line, 800-765-8255. The phone number. Let me get to a couple of texts here before we got to take our final break for the hour. Texter says, I agree with some of Riley Moore's comments. However, the HB1 visa program is badly needed. We can't get our children to read, let alone learn how to do the skills that these people do. Even President Trump told Laura Ingraham we do not have the workers for those types of jobs.
If you want to keep lower prices, too, bear that in mind, because ultimately, you pay for it. It's on the price in everything that you buy. So if we want that as a policy good, okay, fine, but you're going to pay for it.
Let's see. 304-TALK, 304. Riley is not for unions. He never will be. The better question is, why do they let companies hire illegal labor? Here's a novel idea. Prosecute the employer for knowingly employing illegal labor. 304-TALK, 304. All right, we'll get some of these Harrison County texts coming up in the second hour. We got a little bit more time to talk about it. I promise you, though, we will get to them. 800-765-TALK's the phone number. 304-TALK, 304. That is the text line. Jackpots are on the rise in West Virginia. Jackpots are growing each and every week. The Powerball hits Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Saturdays, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Mega Millions lights up Tuesdays and Fridays. That's 5 chances a week to get in on life-changing jackpots. Play in store and online, 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly. The Powerball jackpot is $457 million. Mega Millions jackpot, $604 million. So go ahead, play today.
Right now, America is hungry for energy. More power, more reliability, and more security. So here's a question worth asking. Why not coal? And why not now? West Virginia sits on one of the most abundant energy resources in the world. Generations of miners, proven infrastructure, and coal-fired power plants already delivering dependable, around-the-clock electricity. At a time when demand is surging and reliability matters more than ever, coal isn't a question mark, it's a solution. Today, there's robust support in West Virginia and Washington to strengthen American energy independence using the resources we already have. So again, we ask, why not coal? And why not now? Because when it comes to powering our homes, our hospitals, our economy, and new opportunities, West Virginia Coal is ready. A message from the Friends of Coal, powering America today and tomorrow.
Are you ready to reach the finish line of retirement? At the Stike team at Wealth Enhancement Group, we provide comprehensive guidance for retirement planning in West Virginia. With years of experience, we'll draft a plan tailored for your unique goals. Whether you're just starting or nearing retirement, we make the process as simple as possible, easy, and stress-free. Visit wealthenhancement.com/Stike to set up a complimentary consultation and get started on your plan today. Let's work toward your dream retirement together.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world!
Of course, the LVA was brought into my life because I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
Where he was in the course, we really had to go towards an LVAD.
At that point, I was committed. At that point, I wanted to get better, and I wanted to see what this machine was going to do for me.
With this therapy, he's thriving, doing well. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you. We've got it down to a science, an absolute state of art. We do it all, restoration, cleaning, and reconstruction. When disaster strikes, just pick up the phone. We're Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration, and we're gonna save you.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
The best selection of WVU apparel is at Daniel's Men's Store. Exclusive designs you won't find anywhere else. Stylish, sophisticated, and unmistakably mountaineer. Shop in store or online at danielsofmorgantown.com.
I think you need some appropriate business cards now. But you have your own personalized logo. I got a marshmallow with 4 toothpicks coming out of it. So congratulations, man. I think you need to announce yourself now.
Join Dave Allen weekdays for midday on Metro News Television.
Coming up second hour, Fox News Radio's Jeff Monosso will join us. We were talking a little bit about this yesterday, but the latest on Mitch McConnell and his health status, or at least what we know. He'll join us coming up bottom of the second hour. Jessica Dobrinsky with the Cardinal Institute for West Virginia Policy. We'll talk about Certificate of Need, its impact on hospice care, nursing homes, etc. We'll get into that conversation coming up in about 8 minutes from now. A couple more texts, 304 Talk 304. There was an immigration program. Not sure if that was the acronym, but it would require a new business startup or new industry. Generally, the applicant member would be work there. Now it seems to pay to enter, says the texter. Mark it down. 10, 57, and 51. Got a Graham Plattner text. You know what? If we were in Maine, we'd be having a heck of a show today, wouldn't we? If we were in Maine. But we're not. Unless you got thoughts on Grand Plat. I mean, Maine, you do you up there, boys.
Wasn't there plenty of red flags on that guy before even this?
You mean the Nazi tattoo?
I mean, that might have been a tip-off. I don't know.
You do you, Maine. I bet talk radio has been buzzing up in Maine this week. If you were doing local.
Yeah. If you do a show like ours in Maine and you got a problem on content, you need to get out of the business, frankly.
Golden content up in Maine this week. But, yeah, okay. Yeah, we got a Grand Platinum text. What did I say? 10:57. Okay. Jeez. Y'all are all over the place this morning on the text line. All over the place on the text line this morning. All right, coming up, we'll talk about Certificate of Need. We'll talk a little bit later with Fox News Radio's Jeff Monosso. We'll get back to those Harrison County texts. Some of you weighing in on the state school board and Harrison County. We'll get into that in the second hour as well. Plus, we haven't even got to the DOJ sending a letter to the state Secretary of State. I think it went to the AG as well. You better follow the law or else. We'll get into that coming up second hour. This is Talkline on Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Meteorologist Joe Hansel here. We'll continue to monitor these daily chances of showers and storms that could still produce some localized flash flooding for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Still have about 4 days of some up to likely chances of showers and storms. In that time, anywhere from 3/4 to 2.5 inches of rain, with locally higher amounts are possible for areas of the state. For today and tonight, we're into a marginal to slight risk of excessive rain, which means some isolated to potentially at least widely scattered. Flash flooding may be a possibility with some of these showers and storms. In some central and eastern areas of the state, we do have a marginal risk of severe weather today. Some isolated damaging winds are also possible. Charleston, we got some of that rain yesterday, high of 83, low at 70, just over 3/4 of an inch. Over in Huntington, you posted 1.85 inches of rainfall, enough for a daily record there. What the radar may look like at 7, there are a few showers out there this morning, chance of a general thunderstorm, and then later in the afternoon, that risk of heavy and excessive rain and some isolated severe weather. I'll keep eyes on. Fly Super forecast, it starts at home. Tampa near 97, Orlando 96. Those areas approaching some daily record highs today. Charlotte, hot and humid, Myrtle Beach as well. From Panhandle to Panhandle, likely chance of showers and storms, highs low to upper 80s. Be mindful of some heavy rain. For the eastern Panhandle and surrounding areas, an isolated severe storm is possible with today's weather, with highs low to mid 80s. Be mindful of that potential of heavy and excessive rain for a number of these locations that does exist today. May also be some of that river valley fog out there that may be up to widespread, dropping visibility for the morning drive for a number of spots. Huntington, 86. Another chance of showers and storms with some isolated heavy rain. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we trend drier. High pressure early next week at some point drops in. And then in the long term, slight chance of showers.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Second hour of Metro News Talkline. Dave in Morgantown, TJ in Charleston. We're in the Encova Insurance Studios. You are listening in on one of our great radio affiliates across the state, or perhaps watching on the Metro News TV app, Facebook Live, YouTube Live as well. Multiple ways to participate in the show. 800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255. You can text the show at 304-TALK-304. Jeff Monosso, Fox News Radio, join us coming up bottom of the hour. Also, the DOJ sending a letter to the Secretary of State concerning voter rolls. We'll get into that a little bit later as the hour unfolds. Say good morning to TJ Meadows once again in the Charleston studios. Good morning, TJ Meadows.
Good morning, David Wilson. Here's another one that just burns my britches. Did you see the government getting in on this freedom fuel thing, like a chain of gas stations that Trump is touting now?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Thankfully, I don't think they have direct ownership in them. But the White House should not be doing commercials for a chain that I don't know how they're doing it. Maybe they're selling below cost. I don't know what's going on, but the market will catch up eventually. I mean, you can't do that. Why? The government has no place in business. And here is another example of trying to cozy up to an industry that, has some PR issues now because of everything that's going on. People don't like paying at the pump. I get all of that. I don't want the government in private business in any way, shape, or form, period. And this Republican populist movement that continues to come out of Charleston and come out of Washington, I don't understand it.
Do they have MTOs? That's the question I have.
No.
I don't care who owns the place. If they got an MTO.
Maybe, I don't know. But see, to your point, that's where gas stations make their money. It's not off gas.
Oh, no, yeah. It's the.
I mean, if
they
Sheetz
trick
could,
you into buying a milkshake.
Yeah, if Sheetz could, I'm not saying they are. If they could, I think, which is illegal in this state, they would sell below cost. They make their money on coffee, MTO. The gas is to get you in. I mean, anyway, I digress.
Well, it works, by the way. Put somebody's kid through college on
Great
MTOs.
food at Sheetz. I love Sheetz.
It's dangerous, man. There's one right as you come into Saberton on the way to work every day. It's dangerous. Let's just put it that way. It's dangerous.
We have 4 sheets in a 12-mile stretch of Tays Valley Road.
Yeah, no, you do.
We have 4 of them. And someone said to me, well, don't you have enough? I said, no. No, we don't.
I think there are now 4 or 5 in Morgantown now. You can go just about anywhere in the city. Anyway, I digress. 800-765-TALK and 304-TALK-304. There have been efforts over the years to reform, even fully repeal, the state's Certificate of Need laws, which regulate healthcare providers, require state approval before expanding facilities, offering new services, or acquiring major equipment. In 2025, in fact, there was an effort to fully eliminate the Certificate of Need requirements. That bill failed in the House Health Committee over concerns that full deregulation could threaten essential services in rural areas. The Cardinal Institute has a new report that examines how Certificate of Need laws impact hospice care, nursing homes, and home health services. Joining us on Metro News Talkline this morning from the Cardinal Institute for West Virginia Policy, Chief of Staff Jessica Dobrinsky. Jessica, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me.
So we usually think of Certificate of Need in relation to hospitals, major medical providers, but how did the laws also impact things like hospice care, nursing homes, home services?
Yeah, West Virginia actually has 44 different regulations on various healthcare services. As you mentioned, we've always kind of talked about Certificate of Need from a hospital focus, which is important. But because it's so expansive in West Virginia, it touches those other areas as well, right? These things kind of move together, especially for home health and hospice. But talking about one sector of hospital-based services and not the other really doesn't provide the full picture in the ways that Certificate of Need is harming West Virginia.
I've had 3 instances that I've interacted with hospice when it comes to grandparents. And first, let me say, the folks here in West Virginia, especially in the Charleston area, they do a wonderful job. I mean, they are doing God's work, and God bless them for it. And I encourage everyone to support them. With that said, help me understand this market, because I don't know much about it. Are there entities that want to come into West Virginia now and do more hospice facilities that have been locked out, and that's why this is being raised? Help us understand the dynamic here.
Yeah, so again, talking about it holistically with all the different pieces is really, really valuable, right? I talk to patients and doctors all the time, and any kind of industry talking point that says that people don't want to come into this state is just totally inaccurate compared to the people I talk to. What's really interesting and important too about hospice care is that very sadly, like, all these people are going to live out their final days, and so there's not a huge time for flexibility. The average stay in hospice is about 17 days, and so if there's any kind of wait list, patients are not going to get comfortable care, and it's a lot of stress for families. So removing any kind of barrier so people can come in and provide great care is going to be so, so essential, again, especially as people are living out their last days on Earth.
Do we have a shortage of these types of services?
In some areas, absolutely. Yeah, I think that this is one of the things, because it is so specialized, different areas need it in different ways. I'm having a personal issue right now in my family in the Eastern Panhandle with getting access to home health. I mean, it's, especially in these populated areas, it's a huge, huge issue. We also have to think about like rural and low income families. They're going to have the largest struggle with access. And so any kind of growth in any of these services is, of course, going to help those individuals as well.
How does this tie back to the problem we talk about all the time on this show, which is the lack of population? People are leaving the state. You talk about the rural nature. I mean, would providers be willing to go into some of these counties that just have so low economic density figures? I mean, is the view worth the climb, do you think?
Yeah, I think there's all kinds of people that are interested in healthcare entrepreneurship. I think we're so, this is also why I wanted to talk about a different area of Certificate of Need law. We're always thinking about hospitals and these huge hospital systems, which is a very costly endeavor. But things like ambulatory surgical centers and hospice and home health exist, which are much more, not as cost restrictive for those who want to provide care. And so, again, removing burdens that can increase costs for people to invest, again, is going to improve outcomes for patients.
Talking to Jessica Dobrinsky, she is Chief of Staff, Cardinal Institute for West Virginia Policy. There have been efforts to reform a Certificate of Need. There was an effort in 2023 with a Senate bill. 2025, there was an all-out repeal that died in the House Health Committee. How would you approach this? If you were advising lawmakers, how would you approach reforming or re-examining certificate of need?
Certificate of need is one of these issues that across the board is shown to hurt patients. It increases costs, it has lower quality, lower access. It should be a full repeal. Every single president since Ronald Reagan has been asking states to please repeal it. We've messed up. And every single time a state has done this, there's been a growth in services. Montana being a very recent example, they repealed their certificate of need law and saw between like a 12 and 14% growth in home health services, right? So every single time you remove these laws, the same thing occurs. And I think we need to really allow healthcare to prosper here by removing certificate of need.
From your viewpoint, clearly I would think you would say you've had substantial headwinds when it comes to hospitals and removing certificate of need. Do you see this in these spaces, home health, hospice, nursing facilities? Do you see that as an easier lift? Do you think lawmakers would have a different attitude about these services compared to hospitals?
That's a really interesting question, actually. I think on home health and hospice and these things, it is a little bit more emotionally sensitive. And I think the immediacy that's needed, again, for something like hospice where, people aren't there as long, I think that's really compelling. And I think there's an emotional story there that makes it a lot more immediate. I don't think it makes it more valuable than a full repeal, right? But I do think it tugs on the heartstrings a little bit more when you have kind of sad stories of people not getting access to care.
Well, through conversations we had at the Capitol, I think the full repeal in 25 gave some of those lawmakers a lot of heartburn. So a smaller repeal, or at least proving proof of concept, maybe a step toward a full repeal if that's something lawmakers want to pursue. But maybe taking a small bite before eating the whole enchilada. I don't know why I went with the enchilada there, but you get the metaphor.
Yeah, I mean, certificate of need, I've been working on this for so long now. I think my name is kind of, aligned with it a little bit. It's the Groundhog Day that keeps coming, but, it's an important conversation. I think lawmakers are burnt out because, unfortunately, it's controversial, even though the literature tells us all the same things. But really, it's fueling hospital consolidations. And I think it's an interesting conversation that's being had across the state and across the country. And if we really want to, create a prosperous healthcare community in West Virginia, this is such an easy place to start. And I think it requires a lot of tough questions of our existing systems.
I've had a tough time reconciling the idea of con with the fact that Medicaid pays below cost in a lot of instances, and it seems like the market isn't free because of other interventions before we would even get to con. Again, I don't know the home health, hospice market, nursing home market as much. Talk to me about those reimbursement rates. Are they being paid below cost? I mean, is that a challenge and a hurdle in these industries as well that we need to solve for?
Yeah, reimbursement is a really interesting piece of all this because there's a lot of misconceptions around it. So there's been some studies, including some stuff from MedPAC, that shows that hospitals can break even at 130% around of Medicare rates, right? So this idea that they need to charge these exorbitant prices is just not accurate and really protectionism. There was an interesting Families USA study that came out a month or so ago that showed that West Virginia has some of the highest commercial rates, and it's because of this consolidation, right? When you have pricing power, you can charge whatever you want. Well, what is that doing to people's incomes, to potential businesses that want to come into the state and buy employee-sponsored insurance? It's a deterrent. And so, allowing certificate of need to protect all of these incumbents is really placing power again in price and not putting patients first. And that's really my whole goal, is to create a patient-centered healthcare system.
Jessica, where can folks take a look at the latest study and see the information for themselves?
Yeah, my newest report is at cardinalinstitute.com, along with all of my other research.
Jessica Dobrinsky, Chief of Staff, Cardinal Institute for West Virginia Policy. Always appreciate the conversation. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you.
800-765-TALKS, the phone number, 304-TALK, 304, the text line. Why is the Secretary of State getting a letter from the DOJ? We'll talk about it next.
Approach your retirement with confidence. With over 150 years of combined experience, the advisors of the Stike team at Wealth Enhancement Group provide advice and wealth management strategies to individuals, families, small businesses, professional offices, and institutions. With the Stike team, you'll have access to an advising team with extensive resources, a client-first mindset, and a passion for helping transform the lives of those we serve. Visit wealthenhancement.com/Stike today and join the team that's dedicated to your success.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan. We are here for you.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
On the next State of Minds.
We cook West Virginian food is how we like to phrase it.
I knew that every time I would hear a story, and I would hear the same story, but it never got old, about what this meant to the family and how it was served and how special it was to be put on the table.
I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
We really had to go towards an LVAD. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
At Daniel's Men's Store, exceptional style begins with a curated selection and finishes with a flawless fit. When it's time to buy a suit, Daniel's is here to make sure yours is one of a kind. Discover tailored suits you'll only find in store at Daniel's.
Need a truck that's ready for work, weekends, and everything in between? Right now at Dan Cava GMC, get up to $10,000 off select new GMC Sierra 1500, or save up to $4,000 off all new GMC Canyon Elevations, offering bold styles, advanced technology, and everyday practicality. Come explore our all-new GMC Yukons, built for busy families and big adventures. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop Thorod.
I'm Sean Kovich, Mountaineer Golf Coach. When disaster strikes your home, business, or golf game, call the restoration company the Mountaineers call. Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
.304 Talk, 304 the text line, 800-765-8255. The phone number. CityNet is West Virginia's local internet provider. High-speed, reliable fiber internet is probably right at your front door. Now is the perfect time to connect. It's local customer support you can trust. Perfect for working from home, streaming, or running your business. Fast, reliable fiber internet built for everyday life. When it's high-speed internet you need, CityNet.net connects, protects, and perfects. Over at WVMetroNews.com, Brad McElhinney has a story. West Virginia was among the states sent a warning by the U.S. Department of Justice that officials could face criminal prosecution if non-citizens vote. Whew! Sure, Secretary Chris Warner breathed a sigh of relief because guess what is not a problem here in the great state of West Virginia? Non-citizens voting. Look, TJ, this goes back to, Secretary Warner has said no when the DOJ asked for the voter rolls, said nope, it's against state law. We can share with you what's publicly available, but we're not going to. The DOJ sends this warning, and you read the letter, and I got to be honest, it made me chuckle. I don't know if it made Secretary Warner chuckle or not. If I were him, I probably would have given it at least a grin because it says, well, you better follow election laws or there could be trouble. Here's one thing we do well in West Virginia these days. It hasn't always been the case, but right now, over the last, couple of decades, I'd say, we've cleaned up voter rolls. Our elections go off without a hitch. Everything is done before what? When did we clean up election on the primary? I mean, we had results by 10:30 from across the state. We actually do elections very well here in West Virginia. So, okay, the letter came in. I understand what they're trying to do, but I also understand I don't think Secretary Warner has anything to worry about.
I think he should send a letter back and just ask when and where. When and where. What court do you want me to show up in? What time? What date? I'll be there. This is laughable. If they had a case, they would have already went to court. They would have already done this. I mean, this is, hey, I'm going to put out a letter here, and Trump is so great in West Virginia. Everybody loves him. All the public pressure is going to be so grand. Ain't going to work. So, yeah, when, where, what time, let's do this thing. Let's go to court. Chris doesn't, they're not going to prosecute criminally a Secretary of State. And if they did, it would go so fast to the U.S. Supreme Court that it would make your head spin. Good luck with that.
If there was some way to legally force the information from those voter rolls, they would have pulled that string. They don't have any strings to pull. This is grasping for strings, if you will. Well, if you don't do things the way you're supposed to, there's going to be trouble. Look, there's a lot of things that we need to improve on. We've done a great job. The previous Secretary of State, Mac Warner, we've cleaned up voter rolls. County clerks, by the way, give them a lot of credit. They're the ones that really, and their staffs, had to do the heavy lifting of cleaning up voter rolls because there were things that need to be done. But, man, we run them pretty smooth here in West Virginia. And a lot of that credit goes to the local officials who make that happen every election day. So, all right. We got a letter. Maybe you frame it, hang it on the wall.
Oh, I would. You know what I would do? Here's what I would do. I would see if I could get Donald Trump to sign it, and then I would hang it on the wall. And it would be like, Chris, love you. Doing a great job, Donald.
You would totally do that, wouldn't you?
I would. I mean, this is just laughable. You know what this is? This is standing on the shoulders of a giant and calling yourself tall. Mm-hmm. Everybody sees what this is. It wasn't worth the ink and the time and the paper to send it. Laughable.
Text line is 304-TALK-304. That is the phone number, that's the text line, 304-TALK-304, 800-765-TALK, the phone number. Texter says, is it a coincidence that West Virginia has a non-voting issue now that Republicans are in charge? It only seems like Democratic-ran cities and states have the biggest issue when it comes to voter accuracy. I don't know if it's a coincidence. I don't know. You're reading a lot into a lot of things here. I don't live anywhere else. All I know is here, we have done a good job cleaning up voter rolls. We don't have any issues with elections these days. Our election laws are, I think, pretty easy to understand. County clerks do a great job. I think Secretary of State's office does a great job. Can't speak for everybody else. Boy, here we go. Trump in 2020. Moving on. 304-TALK-304. Hey, guys, this is really important. There are 7 Sheetz locations in Morgantown.
We have to think about that now.
This texter says, I've got 2,200 Sheetz points. Best use of points. Half sub, double meat, 750 points. Okay.
Let me just say this. Sheetz over Wawa anytime. You can keep that Wawa stuff up in Pennsylvania where it belongs.
304-TALK-304. Texter wants to know, did the Harrison County employee overage happen under the COVID extra money? If so, how are educators so naive about expenses the financial personnel and board members should not keep their jobs? I don't know. I'd have to go back and dig into that a little bit. We do follow that locally up here on WAJR Morgantown because, Clarksburg, Harrison County is just right down the road. They were warned. You can go back and read the stories. Uriah Cummings was in front of the Board of Education in March, warning about the coming trouble. Superintendent Michelle Blatt was also warning, saying, hey, we are way over. And here's the thing. Think about this, TJ. They closed a high school in Harrison County last year and still are somewhere between the numbers 180 or 190 employees over the school aid formula that's not being funded by the excess levy. And they closed a high school last year.
Are you surprised? Are you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised. I'm not. Look,
no.
The decisions are hard, man. And I do not envy anybody who has to sit on a board of education or a city council or a county commission, and you have to make that decision to cut somebody's job. Don't envy you. But your alternative, TJ, as you have pointed out, is financial ruin. And then you're getting into the education of the kids. Then you're really neglecting your duty.
This is a problem of moral hazard. And what I mean by that is they know the state's going to step in and bail them out. We did it with Hancock County. We'll do it with the next county. We're doing it with Harrison County. Maybe not with money, but with making the tough decisions. They know that. So until there is some kind of repercussion, kick them out of office. Until something happens, that there is a reason for a board member to make a tough vote. And I'm not being pejorative of every board. Some of them have. But until you have some kind of incentive, this is going to keep happening, especially when we turn around and write a check or we take the school system over and make the tough choices.
But nobody's going to, and you've brought up bankruptcy, and I see your point. There's not a lawmaker in the state that's going to allow a school system to go into bankruptcy and impact a kid's educational experience. Are they? Are you really going to allow that to happen? I can't see that happening.
I don't know that it would really affect a child. We can get into that later if you want, but it's more a paper thing and a legal thing, and it would just I don't think children would actually be affected. It's a reset in my mind.
Oh, not waving at you again. I got gnats in the studio.
Oh,
by
I thought
the
you
way.
were just telling me to shut up. So
Nope, got gnats swarming around my head again. And I showered this morning, too. Coming up, Jeff Monosso. It's Dave and TJ. It's Talkline on Metro News on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. It's 11:30. Let's get an update from the Metro News Radio Network. Find out what's happening all across the great state of West Virginia.
Today's Metro News television forecast is brought to you by Salango Law. Get results, not excuses.
Meteorologist Joe Hansel here. We'll continue to monitor these daily chances of showers and storms that could still produce some localized flash flooding for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Still have about 4 days of some up to likely chances of showers and storms. In that time, anywhere from 3/4 to 2.5 inches of rain, with locally higher amounts are possible for areas of the state. For today and tonight, we're into a marginal to slight risk of excessive rain, which means some isolated to potentially at least widely scattered flash flooding may be a possibility with some of these showers and storms. In some central and eastern areas of the state, we do have a marginal risk of severe weather today. Some isolated damaging winds are also possible. Charleston, we got some of that rain yesterday, high of 83, low at 70, just over 3/4 of an inch. Over in Huntington, you posted 1.85 inches of rainfall, enough for a daily record there. What the radar may look like at 7, there are a few showers out there this morning, chance of a general thunderstorm. And then later in the afternoon, that risk of heavy and excessive rain and some isolated severe weather I'll keep eyes on. Fly Super forecast, it starts at home. Tampa near 97, Orlando 96. Those areas approaching some daily record highs today. Charlotte, hot and humid, Myrtle Beach as well. From Panhandle to Panhandle, likely chance of showers and storms. Highs low to upper 80s. Be mindful of some heavy rain. For the eastern Panhandle and surrounding areas, an isolated severe storm is possible with today's weather, with highs low to mid 80s. Be mindful of that potential of heavy and excessive rain for a number of these locations that does exist today. May also be some of that river valley fog out there that may be up to widespread, dropping visibility for the morning drive for a number of spots. Huntington, 86. Another chance of showers and storms with some isolated heavy rain. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we trend drier. High pressure early next week at some point drops in. And then in the long term, slight chance of showers.
This is Ben Salango with Salango Law. Salango Law has earned a reputation for getting excellent results for our clients. With decades of experience handling thousands of cases, we know what it takes to deliver. Proudly voted Best in the Valley for 3 consecutive years by readers of the Charleston Gazette-Mail, Salango Law is deeply committed to giving back by investing in our community. From supporting local programs to making our region a better place to live, Salango Law is proud to be your trusted legal and community partner. Check us out at salangolaw.com.
On the next State of Minds.
We cook West Virginian food is how we like to phrase it.
I knew that every time I would hear a story, and I would hear the same story, but it never got old, about what this meant to the family and how it was served and how special it was to be put on the table.
Talk 304. That's the text line, 800-765-8255. That is the phone number. More Sheets text rolling in. We'll get to those coming up in a bit as well. 304 Talk 304. Just to pick up where we left off with the conversation there, because we got a minute waiting on Jeff Monosso to connect with us, which may or may not happen. Let's play this out. Okay, let's go ahead and play the hypothetical game, TJ. Let's say a school system was allowed. The state doesn't step in. You spend up all your you're out of money. You're bankrupt.
Mm-hmm.
How does that play out? I mean, how does that play out? Does that get politicians, lawmakers, state lawmakers' attention finally? Is that just what has to happen moving forward rather than the state stepping in, bailing these school systems out? Let's play this scenario out a little bit here.
Yeah, so, look, I don't think it'll stop buses from running the next morning. I think it'll be a clean slate with creditors, and it will take some time. But I do wonder, on the other side of bankruptcy, if there would be some provisions you could oust the board. And until there is some kind of consequence where a board is actually removed and has their duty taken away from them, their seat taken away from them as a result of their dereliction of duty or not adhering to their fiduciary responsibilities, I don't think you're going to see this stop. You're going to see the next county and the next county. So the point I'm trying to make is if you do something now, throw an elbow now, it will create an incentive for the county that's next and the county after that and the county after that to be able to do something. We saw that on Wall Street in 2008 with the housing crisis. When we finally said we're not going to bail the next guy out, what did they do? They got together and they merged and they figured it out in the private sector. Until then, they knew that Hank Paulson was going to come in with some money and help them out. And it's not exactly the same. But all I know is until people see that there is some kind of negative outcome that directly affects them, I think they continue to go about business as usual. The state will either step in before they hit it, make the tough hiring and firing decisions, and or if they do get to the point where they can't make payroll, we'll write another check.
We'll come back to this. 304 Talk 304, the text line 800-765-8255.
Quickly, can I just say I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I hope none of this happens. I'm just telling you what I think could happen.
We'll come back to it next segment. 304 Talk 304. Rumors continue to swirl about the health of Kentucky Senator and former Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. We talked about it yesterday. His office has provided few details about his condition since being hospitalized more than 3 weeks ago. What do we know? Let's bring into the conversation Fox News Radio's Jeff Monosso. Jeff, good morning. What do we know about Senator McConnell at this point?
Well, good morning to you. So we just know that he's been hospitalized since the 14th. He's had years of health issues. That EMS call that was made public revealed that McConnell suffered potentially a heart attack. He was found unconscious in his D.C. home. As you mentioned, his team has been tight-lipped in the week since, repeatedly sending the press their original statement, which provides basically nothing. He's hospitalized in the D.C. area by the staff and aides, not telling us exactly which facility he's at. Amid some reports last week that the 84-year-old and the longest-serving senator in U.S. history may be brain dead. Of course, Republicans have been pushing back on that and saying, no, we're talking to him, he's fine. CNN Scott Jennings yesterday or the day before quashed, or at least tried to quash that rumor, saying that McConnell called him. They talked for about 20 minutes on the phone. That he's recovering, appears to be doing well based on that conversation. Though now Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear he's not demanding proof of life, but at least he wants an update on the senator's health, saying in a statement in part that allowing speculation to continue in the media is not fair to the senator or to Kentuckians, but that he also wishes him a safe and speedy recovery, and there's a reason why. And this is where it could get interesting. If McConnell's seat becomes vacant before his term ends under a 2024 state law enacted by Kentucky Republicans, the Republican-led legislature, the Democrat governor, Beshear, his power to appoint a temporary successor, that's been removed. But if McConnell's seat becomes vacant prior to August 3rd, Governor Beshear is legally required to call a special session to choose a replacement. The winner of that special election would take office immediately. Though if the vacancy occurs after August 3rd, there's no mechanism under the law to hold a special election, and the Senate seat would remain entirely vacant until a newly elected senator is sworn in, coming in January. As you know, the Senator McConnell, he decided not to run for an 8th term this fall. So there's a Republican and Democrat doing that this fall. But in the meantime, what happens? 26 days between now and August 3rd. Are they just trying to hold out? There's just fueling more, speculation, more drama. I don't know. We'll see.
Jeff, where's the senator's wife in this? I mean, she's seasoned in Washington and in politics. What are we hearing from her?
Not much. Apparently, she fled. Actually, I'm not going to say fled, but some of the headlines are saying that she went to China, had a meeting with the vice president there after McConnell's June 14th incident, in which he was hospitalized. Obviously, that's fueling speculation, and people are just kind of wondering what's that all about. So I don't know too much about what she's saying, but I can tell you that there are short-term and long-term implications for McConnell not being there. I mean, if he remains unable to return when the Senate reconvenes, Republicans would temporarily have one fewer member available for votes. Obviously, there's been issues. The bills have gotten through the House, but they go to the Senate to die of late, and that's been a real thorn in President Bush's side. And of course, McConnell and the president don't have the tightest of relationship. But the current balance is 53 to 47, so it's already a tight margin. And so, who knows?
Fox News Radio's Jeff Monosso. Jeff, we appreciate the update this morning. Thank you so much, buddy.
You bet.
800-765-TALK, 800-765-8255, 304-TALK, 304. More of your text coming up. This is Talkline from the Cove Insurance Studios.
Right now, America is hungry for energy, more power, more reliability, and more security. So here's a question worth asking. Why not coal? And why not now? West Virginia sits on one of the most abundant energy resources in the world. Generations of miners, proven infrastructure, and coal-fired power plants already delivering dependable, around-the-clock electricity. At a time when demand is surging and reliability matters more than ever, coal isn't a question mark, it's a solution. Today, there's robust support in West Virginia and Washington to strengthen American energy independence using the resources we already have. So again, we ask, why not coal? And why not now? Because when it comes to powering our homes, our hospitals, our economy, and new opportunities, West Virginia Coal is ready. A message from the Friends of Coal, powering America today and tomorrow.
They say you can't take the lottery with you. But now you can play anywhere, anytime with iPlay, the West Virginia Lottery's official app. From Cooper's Rock to the Greenbrier River, from the bleachers to your living room, iPlay goes where you do. Safe, simple, and always West Virginia proud. Play anywhere, anytime. Download iPlay today. iPlay, the fun, secure way to play. Wherever life takes you. 18 plus to play. Play responsibly.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
Of course, the LVA was brought into my life because I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
Where he was in the course, we really had to go towards an LVAD.
At that point, I was committed. At that point, I wanted to get better, and I wanted to see what this machine was going to do for me.
With this therapy, he's thriving, doing well. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at WVHTF.org.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Our commitment doesn't stop when you drive off the lot. With factory-trained technicians and a service team you can trust, we're here to keep your vehicle running at its best for years to come. So when it's time to get your next vehicle, choose the dealership that's been serving the community for generations. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
The best selection of WVU apparel is at Daniel's Men's Store. Exclusive designs you won't find anywhere else. Stylish, sophisticated, and unmistakably mountaineer. Shop in store or online at danielsofmorgantown.com.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong.
MetroNews Talkline is presented by Encova Insurance, encircling you with coverage to protect what you care about most. Visit Encova.com to learn more.
Summer is here. You don't want to be left on the banks while your friends are out enjoying the lake or the river, so check out all of the great deals available on pontoon and fishing boats at Lou Wendell Marine Sales. You can see the entire inventory online at LouWendellMarineSales.com. Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun. 304 Talk 304. You guys are all over the place this morning, and I appreciate that. Texter says, guys, I just got off the phone with Senator Mitch McConnell. For 20 minutes, he told me TJ doesn't know what he's talking about. And Brian Helton is right about coal power plants.
Jeez. Nice.
But Chung. Oh, man.
Somebody made the suggestion the other day that if Helton and I discussed anything other than energy policy, we may agree on a lot of things. And I don't know. There may be something to that. I mean, you know, I don't know.
Okay, follow me here. Hey, Dave and TJ, Mothman's wife, Moth Girl, laid about 100 million eggs 18 years ago with birthright citizenship. They may vote. Saw it on the internet. Looks very real to me. They are for sure Democrats, says the texter. Has it been a weird day or is it just me? Are you getting that kind of weird day vibe at all?
Yeah, I think there's a lot happening, too. There's a lot happening at the state level. There's a lot happening at the national level. And typically, you know, summer is a little slower, but it seems like a lot of stuff is dropping. And maybe that accounts for some of the craziness. I don't know.
This texter says, I can only think of 6 sheets in Morgantown. Jake, or Ethan, let's get Ethan. That is a perfect job for producer Ethan. Go to all of the sheets around Morgantown and get us a definite number. Do that today.
Or just hop on Google. Can't you map that? We ought to have that in like 10 seconds.
We want to send
You want him
out.
to physically
I
go?
want him to
make sure they're
physically
open?
go to each one, take a selfie at each location.
Hey, that would be good video content.
Yeah. Then we'll make Jake edit it. This is Greg Riley from Ona. You know, when people just continually state that the only problem with voting issues is blue states and big cities, you know, I don't see that. The only person that seems to think there's a problem is Fox News and Donald Trump. If there's problems, why is there no convictions, no proof, no evidence, nothing to contradict this, says Greg in Ona. Hey, guys, you missed the point of the letter. I'd be willing to bet this was meant for the states that don't follow about our rules, but you have to send it out to all the states. I don't think that letter went to all the states. We were among the states, and they were the states that have refused to turn over voter rolls.
I was going to say some states have, and so I think it's a bigger issue than just not following rules. I think it's an issue of Chris Warner following West Virginia law, which he has pointed out would be violated in doing that, versus what the feds are telling him to do.
Texter says, I don't expect the legislature to do squat to fix the education problem in the state. We're 50th and will remain at 50 as long as elected officials are more concerned with letting us have machine guns than caring for our children. Elect idiots. You have idiots running the state. 55 BOAs and Hope Scholarship are bad for the kids, says the texter. Okay. Back to the Board of Education decision. And your point, TJ.
Yeah.
What are the negative ramifications, the negative consequences for not making these hard decisions and I was thinking about this during the break. If you were on a board of education, not picking on anyone in particular, what's the harsher consequence? Cutting jobs or not cutting jobs? Because, as you state, if you don't do it, the state will eventually. The state will eventually. They will appoint somebody. That's what's happened in Harrison County, right? They'd have had personnel decisions taken away from the board. So you as a board member, you don't have to make that decision. You don't have to face the voters and say that you cut jobs. You laid off your friends. So to your point, there are no negative consequences if the state's going to continually step in. But is the state required? We got to look. I should have looked this up. Does the rec decision, though, require the state to step in?
I don't know. I would have to look that up, too. I don't know.
Because if Harrison County, let's play it out again, comes back next year, doesn't make any RIFs, and is out of money, cannot make the payroll, then what? Then is that where you step in with bankruptcy, I suppose?
Yeah, government bankruptcy is Chapter 9, which is the chapter that would allow a government entity to keep operating despite filing bankruptcy. So, creditors would get in line, somebody would get paid, somebody wouldn't. Everything's kind of frozen. So if everything's frozen and they're not making payments, in theory, you'd have enough to keep paying payroll and what essentials you needed. But honestly, Dave, I don't even know that a subdivision, a political entity in the state of West Virginia can file Chapter 9. I'm getting way over my skis here.
Yeah, we are.
But something's got to give, I think, is the point we're trying to make here. I mean, you can't keep doing the same thing and have no repercussions and expect anyone to take the high road. Because here's the thing. If they're already taking the high road and doing what they should, a board of education, they're not here. They're not in this position. So if you're in this position, and when you look at these numbers, we got a lot of boards of ed that are bumping up against that healthy 12%, I think it was, number that Uriah talked about.
And what do you do? Again, maybe we're getting out over our skis a little bit today, TJ, but with the point being there's something's got to give. What do you do if you are doing everything correctly? You have RIF'd employees. You've consolidated schools. You've closed old schools. And you're still coming up at the end of the budget going, we're still short. Then what do you do? Shouldn't maybe that's a bigger wake-up call to state lawmakers that the state aid formula is antiquated and archaic and needs to be revamped. Because if you are doing all the things correctly and you still can't make it work, that may be even a bigger problem.
And we have a multitude of problems. I would be the first to agree. My computer is giving me fits right now. I was doing what I do best. I was going to a spreadsheet, and it won't, for some reason, it's not populating. Oh, there we go. There we go. So bear with me for a second. Would you agree, David, that one of the most challenged counties economically in this state is Clay County? Is that a fair assessment on my part?
Sure.
Their county board of education is only 1.75 positions above funded formula in professional positions and only 5 in service personnel positions. As a result, they have about a 28% fund balance to approved levy funding, that cushion. It's at 28%. If Clay County, with all of their challenges that they have, yes, they have an excess levy, but if they can figure it out, why can't a county like Harrison that has much more economic prosperity than Clay?
And an excess levy. Excess levy.
So I think I take your point, but I think there are some people that are really up against it that have figured out how to make it work.
304 Talk 304. That's the text line. More text rolling in. I think we have now consensus. There are indeed 7 sheets in the Morgantown area. I'm glad we got that cleared up, aren't you, TJ?
I mean, that was going to weigh heavy on my mind tonight.
More of your text in a moment. This is Talkline from the Encova Insurance Studios. We'll wrap it right after this.
The WVU Cancer Institute is transforming cancer care in West Virginia and beyond. The state's top doctors deliver compassionate care and treatment using leading-edge technology and innovative research for patients facing colorectal cancer. From screening and early detection to advanced treatment and survivorship support, we're here for you every step of the way. call 855-WVU-CARE.
This boating season, elevate your family time with Lou Wendell Marine Sales. Proudly family owned for over 40 years, Lou and his sons are West Virginia's largest Avalon pontoon dealer. Trusted experts in premium boats, motors, and service. Discover refined comfort, elegant design, and performance you can feel. Now is the perfect time to take advantage of preseason savings. At Lou Wendell Marine Sales, they don't just sell boats, they sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com because the weekend's almost here.
For over 30 years, High Technology Foundation has been committed to building a stronger West Virginia. Our mission, economic diversification. By fostering innovation and supporting tech initiatives, we pave the way for a brighter future. From cutting-edge research to tech-driven solutions, we're transforming the landscape. Join us in creating opportunities and driving progress. Let's build a diverse economy together. Visit WVHTF.org. High Technology Foundation, shaping West Virginia's future.
You're listening to Talkline on Metro News, the voice of West Virginia.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
For over 20 years, Dan Cava Toyota World has been more than a dealership. We're family-owned, community-focused, and committed to taking care of our customers long after the sale. Visit Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
I had a severe heart attack in November of 2024. And then I entered into congestive heart failure.
We really had to go towards an LVAD. And not only is he living, he's thriving.
At Daniel's Men's Store, exceptional style begins with a curated selection and finishes with a flawless fit. When it's time to buy a suit, Daniel's is here to make sure yours is one of a kind. Discover tailored suits you'll only find in-store at Daniel's.
Download Metro News Television on your iPhone or Android. Search Metro News Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now. Jackpots are growing. In West Virginia, jackpots are on the rise every week. Powerball hits Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Mega Millions lights up Tuesdays and Fridays. That's 5 chances a week to get in on life-changing jackpots. Play in-store and online. 18 plus to play. Please play responsibly. The Powerball jackpot is $457 million. Mega Millions jackpot is $604 million. Go ahead. Play today. Did you see? We just had another Powerball. Well, a Powerball winning ticket. $2 million winner from May. Prize winner remained anonymous, but collected that this week down at lottery headquarters. So congratulations to whomever you are.
Index funds.
Contact TJ. TJ Meadows at 304 Talk 304 Index funds.
I'll help you, free of charge.
All right. Any text we need to clean up? We have. You know, of all the things we've talked about today, what people are going to take away from today's show?
The number of sheets in the greater Morgantown area.
I think so. We got some more text. 2 in Star City, 1 downtown, 1 by Walmart, 1 on Earl Elcourt Road, 1 in between the 2 hospitals. Which one am I missing? Ethan had them all listed there a minute ago.
You know what I think today has proven? It has proven that you and I can deliver serious content keep people up to speed on the issues that are most important to this state, and have a good time doing it. That's what today has proven.
Well, I'll take that. That's a positive takeaway. By the way, Texter says best pepperoni rolls hand down. Almost heaven at Cheat Lake. None of that sweet bread dough, says the texter.
There is another content piece. You and I need to be like the Dave Portnoy of West Virginia pepperoni rolls and go around to all the various places and just go in, buy a couple rolls and say, I give it this, I give it that.
I'd be all about that. I could do that.
Well, we got the ideas. It's just execution. We haven't figured that part out yet.
That's more video content, Jake. We got to get on this stuff, man. We got to get on this. Star Waltz. Oh, Sheets at the end of the mile ground, says the texter. That's one where I've been missing. They built that where the Blue Parrot used to be. And if you knew what the Blue Parrot was, shame on you. All right. Follow the news of the day over at the website, WV Metro. You don't know what the Blue Parrot was?
I have no idea what you're talking about. So is that good?
Probably.
Okay.
Follow the news of the day over at the website, WVMetroNews.com. Star Walt tomorrow. We'll see you then. This is Talkline on Metro News for 40 years, the voice of West Virginia.